Have a heart, have a heart, have a heart.
Hey, Have a Heart bud tenders, how you doing? Aloha, this is Nate from Gold Leaf Gardens, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our company. First off, thank you so much for always supporting Gold Leaf. We have a long history with Have a Heart, as many of you personally remember or may have heard. Have a Heart helped us out in the early years, put us on the map. A lot of our customers who we connected with, the patients back then, are still our loyal customers today. So we look forward to continuing that for many years. So we just thought we'd give you a little bit of updates about where we are today as a company in 502, and hopefully answer some of the questions you have. A little bit about our kind of company ethics and what drives us. A lot of times you may see the tagline, "Grown with Aloha." That's something we use. Part of that is because most of us are from Hawaii. The core members anyways who started the company are from Hawaii. And I think that kind of, there's a certain spirit there that we try to put into all of our products. We began as a medical provider, and that's always where our heart's always been. We take a lot of responsibility in the way that we care for cannabis at plant. When you're caring for patients, it's very important to be growing responsibly, safely, and I think that approach to growing is sort of what has helped our products stand out a lot, even in this recreational market. So as of today, right now, we're not directly involved in the medical marijuana industry, although we certainly like to think that a lot of our patients are still purchasing our products for their own uses. But grown with Aloha, Aloha it means love in Hawaiian, but it embodies a lot more. There's not exactly a perfect English translation, but it's family, it's community, it's it's hello and goodbye, and all of that. So a lot of my gardeners really never see the outside world. They're hardworking guys, all these Hawaiians from Kauai, and they're in the gardens all the time. But I really think that the love that they put into their work every day, just kind of, I don't know. We think that's really what flavors the herb more than the terpenes. Is that love and aloha that's in there, and we try and hope that the bud tenders that we work with and the stores that we work with understand that message as well. We've been pretty selective with who we work with. We only are currently in maybe about a dozen or so stores, and that's by design. We don't want to be everywhere. We just want to work with the people who share our values, and I think Have a Heart kind of embodies that, always has. So when we put all of our hard work into growing this, we want to make sure that that customer receives that message, So you guys are ambassadors, and we're very appreciative. So one of the most important things for us is growing organically. And I know you can't say the big O word in the stores. For us, it's not so much a marketing tool, it's just really kind of in line with the way we live our lives. So we really started to embrace organic gardening a few years ago, and we've gone pretty deep into that. So one of the things, the way that we cultivate our plants, if customers are asking, it's all soil grown, living soil. We reuse our soil. So this soil that I brought today, it's pretty special. It's the same soil we've been using for like 3 or 4 years. We don't throw it out. We just keep enriching it with lots of biology, diversity, and it just kind of retains the spirit of every round of plants that's been grown in it. It sort of has a memory. And it's really true, when we grow in new soil, it doesn't come out as good as that 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And there's a scientific explanation for that, but I think there's also just a sort of more spiritual reason for that as well. But organic growing, that also means pesticide free. That's of course very important. That comes sort of from our medical roots. And so one of the things we did this year is we got Clean Green certified. You can look that up, what that means, but it's basically a third-party accreditation that says that we follow the same standards as the USDA organic certification. It might not be the perfect thing so far, but for right now at least, is something you can talk about that says somebody else came in, inspected our garden, saw that that we're pesticide free, that all of our nutrients are organic, we don't use any salt-based fertilizers, and so customers can feel confident knowing they're buying a very safe, clean product. And I think that soil growing brings out the fullest expression of the plant's genetics. That's my own opinion. Everybody has their own, but for us, we've grown a lot of different ways, and I've never been able to bring out all of the qualities of effect and flavor that we can with a plant that's growing in something that really mimics its natural environment. So we make our own compost, we make our own soil, we make our own nutrients. We almost buy nothing from the hydro store, and we're kind of proud of that. And that's how Gold Leaf is grown. So just a quick note about a few strains that we grow. I think people know us a lot for our peppermint cookies, and there's a lot of stories about what that really is, and I'm not going to give you the real story here today. But that's kind of the cut that sort of changed the fortune of our company. We won a couple of awards, Dope Cup with it. It's a really good cookie cut, and we grow it because we like to smoke it. It's everybody's favorite at work. So I don't know, there's not too much more that needs to be said about that one. It sort of has a reputation of its own at this point. We've also been growing a lot of Gorilla Glue. A lot of people grow Gorilla Glue. Again, we just kind of, we grow what we like to smoke, so I mean, in some cases that's sort of a very difficult strain to grow and a smaller yielder, but we grow it because we want to, and on the other end you have something like Gorilla Glue, which is kind of common and very, very grower friendly, but it thrives in our garden. And a couple other things that we're really excited about right here. We have this Purple Punch. So that's going to probably be something that's sort of an anchor strain of ours for a little while. It's Granddaddy Perp crossed with Larry OG by a local guy named Supernova Gardens. And it's starting to gain a lot of notoriety, and I think we're one of the only few people here in Washington in 502 who are growing it right now. So we're pretty proud of that, and again, we really like it. It's pretty heavy-hitting indica, very fruity palate. It looks really nice too. I think it's got a lot of bag appeal, so I don't think it should be too much trouble selling that. And then our Grape Diesel. Oh, we're also really excited about our Rude Boy OG. For the longest time, we're trying to find an OG that just sort of like worked for us, and this seems to be the first one that just really clicks with our system and our methods. So that's from Archive Seeds, Irene OG, and it's definitely an OG. It also has, like, to me, it's sort of like a Fruit Loopy, kind of like a sour Fruit Loop, smell to it as well, and flavor. Definitely OG in effect. So those are kind of like our main ones, and hopefully you'll always see those along with maybe the Fire Bubba, the Grape Diesel, and then we have a few kind of secrets coming down the pipeline in the near future, so we'll keep you informed. Quickly, I wanted to talk about Gold Leaf and luxury cannabis, and this is a market that I think we're trying to work to develop, and with your help, hopefully we can push this industry into a more mature place and kind of mimic a lot of the other industries you see. And so what is luxury cannabis? And I think to us, what that means is that, for that customer who's buying some Gold Leaf or something else that fits that description, that purchase they're making is actually an event. It's something really special for them. So it's not just buying something that's going to get them high. This is like something that they probably planned for. Perhaps they've been saving up for it, or there's a reason to celebrate. And we like to think you don't just get Gold Leaf because it's Tuesday. Maybe it's there's a special reason to treat yourself, or the friends you're with. And so it's kind of meaningful to us that you know, the people who are selling it, you know, understand that every time that somebody comes in and buys it, they might, you know, that might be like a really important event to them. You know, maybe they're buying it for status symbol, you know, or for whatever other reason. But you know, we like to hope that that purchase for them is means more than just a transaction, and it's kind of exclusive, you know. So, and I think the more exclusive and the more personal that interaction can be, you know, the more people will start to really view the product as something on par with other luxury goods. Quality, what does that mean, right? Everybody talks about quality. They got the most quality goods. I'll tell you what it's not to us. It's not potency. It's not the size of the buds. It's not how high it's going to get you. For us, quality is more of an internal measure, and we have a, you know, really strict line that we hold at Gold Leaf, and from every part, from the you know, from the gardeners, you know, through the harvest, the curing process, you know, all the way through the packaging, you know, every step along the way, you know, we train all of our staff to constantly like grade it, you know, almost as if they're just trying to select out the best. And you know, I'll never admit how much weed we have not put the Gold Leaf name on. You know, we've grown a lot of weed that just did not make the standard, and because that didn't end up in these jars. And that to us is what quality is. You know, it's that, you know, you can't not let something slip through the cracks 100% of the time, but that's our goal. We hope that, you know, every time somebody purchases something, that you sell some Gold Leaf to somebody, that they're going to come back satisfied, because they know that we selected those flowers, you know, by our standards, but what we want to smoke, you know, what we would want. And we don't see enough of that in this industry. We see a lot of people just packing everything they can to a, you know, a container and selling it. To us, it's not even about that. You know, we could care less how much weed we sell. We just want to make sure that we sell the best that we can do. So I want to show this jar here, because I think it kind of embodies like what the quality measures that we take, right? So all of our half ounces and full ounces come in these jars. You've probably seen some. So you know, it has the wax seal. Every bud in here is selected by hand, of course, you know, hand trimmed. Everything's done by hand. The jar itself takes a very long time to put together. So we hand cut out this you know, decorative wrap, hand wrap it. It's held together with some raw hemp wick, so it is functional packaging. The wax is melted on there, stamped, and then each jar is signed by who it's inspected by, along with the harvest date and the jar number. And there's nothing automated about this process. It's inefficient. It takes forever, but it's just like, to us, I need something that can represent the efforts that are made in all aspects of Gold Leaf. So for the gardeners can't explain to the customers the love that they put in the garden. So hopefully this packaging can say that, you know, we took this much effort for how we want to present it, that it speaks to what's in the flower. So to us, that's what quality means. Just wanted to quickly talk about a couple of our sister brands, if you will. So we have Leira Cannagars and Polar Icetracts. They're both their own companies. They started off independently, but now we are all a collective that works out of the same facility. So there's a lot of you know, shared philosophy on you know, what we're trying to accomplish and create, and that's why we've known them from the, you know, from the medical industry back in the day, but kind of coming together, we really wanted to have a whole suite of products that all kind of fit this luxury cannabis market. So I'll let them introduce themselves, but just quickly, you know, Leira Cannagars uses all Gold Leaf flower and Polar Icetracts concentrate. It's all done in-house, you know, so those leaves that wrap the Cannagars, those are from the same plants in our garden that the flower comes from. So it means it's clean green certified as well. It's safe, it's clean, it's, you know, the best flower we could grow. And Polar Icetracts, you know, hash makers, since we grow organically, we felt that it was really appropriate that we do solventless extracts, right? So nothing against other kinds of extracts, but that's what we felt would be the best representation of our product. So we have a nice process built lab in there. The flower is captured frozen fresh right before harvest. It's taken in there and quickly run through ice water extraction, and then one generation further into the hash rosin sometimes. So it's all clean, it's all good, it's all really high quality, and that just kind of is what we're all about. So, well, that's Gold Leaf in a nutshell. So thank you very much for taking the time to learn more about our company. Again, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys being great ambassadors for us. We look forward to many more years of working together with Have a Heart. So yeah, aloha, I'm back to the garden.
Hi, how you doing? This is Sarang from Polar Icetracts. I am the founder of the company, and I've entered the 502 market with Great Garden from Gold Leaf, and that's where most of our products, material is sourced from to make our bubble hash from a Clean Green certified garden. And it was a great partnership with Gold Leaf because they adhere to the standards that I adhere to with my company and whatnot. So for us, it was a great partnership for us to be able to work with a great garden like them. So now let's go on to the product. So as far as product goes, we have a couple different products line. We just launched our silver line, which is our economy line. It's still really good products. It's all made from our hash rosin. That's from dry material, from the dry trim and the dry larf. It doesn't contain the terpene profile like the gold line, but it still tastes tastes really good. Better than most product that's out there, in my opinion. But it's just the standards that we have for our products, and then and it's all. This difference. The difference between the two is, like I say, mostly just basically the terpene profile. You're just not gonna have that punch in your face, taste that you would from like a fresh. You just imagine a dried fruit versus a fresh fruit, right? You're not gonna get the same taste from a dry fruit as a fresh fruit from a dried fruit. So it's kind of the same scenario here. So, and again, that's made from dry trim, dry larf material, and all from a clean green certified garden. The silver line comes in the mylar pouches. The logo is in silver, so that way it can differentiate the products from the gold and the silver line easily if any customers have questions or whatnot. So, and that's our silver line. And as far as our gold line, it consists of two products. Our 6-star hash, which is a full milk bubble hash. This will easily melt into an oil. We like to take it at a lower temperature. For me, if you're using an e-nail or whatnot, I like to take my dabs for full melt around like 500, 550 degrees. A lot of people are up around like 700. To me, that's a little bit too high, and you actually burn a lot of the terpenes that people that buy this product, enjoys. So, and that's our 6-star full melt bubble hash. It's usually sandy, but once you get into a certain temperature, like we usually try to maintain we maintain our inventory at a steady 50 degrees, so to preserve the life of the product and the terpenes. Anything outside of once you hit 65 degrees, your hash will start to melt, start to bond with each other, and it becomes more of a single solid mass versus a sandy texture or whatnot. It's just being in this room, as you can see, like 10 minutes ago was sandy. Right now it's probably about 70-something degrees in here. So that's the difference between the gold that's the hash and the gold line. So now the difference between the gold hash rosin line is that the gold line is made from all fresh material. Same thing with our hash. It's freshly harvested. We we process it into small nugs, and then we throw it into the freezer for 24 to 48 hours before we start washing it and refining the material to this state here. So, and again, it's made from all fresh frozen material. I went through a lot of trial and error as far as learning how to make the product and whatnot. And for me, I've always had a higher standard as for what a quality product should be. And for me, and also too, if I know if there's a higher quality product there, I'm going to represent it to the fullest. I'm not going to say, okay, this is good enough, because it's good enough doesn't make it to the next level, you know. So it has to meet the mark or better. And making the hash, and like I say, it's the cleanest form of concentrates. You know, we're using 0 ppm water, 0 ppm ice. There's no chemicals whatsoever going through it. You know, that alongside with a clean green certified product for material from Gold Leaf Garden, it just makes for an excellent, pure, cleaner concentrate. You know, so I mean, that's basically why I got into this, is because I wanted more of a pure form of the plant without having to go through all this processing. It's like, I mean, just ice and water. I mean, what else do you really need? I mean, and you get the truest form of the representation of the flower in the purest way. I mean, in the medical days, we made hash and whatnot. We had a lot of low-grade stuff, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star product. I didn't know what to do with it, you know, because everybody always wanted the 6- and 5-star product. So I had excess and all that stuff. So that's when the big rosin craze started. I like I said, I wasn't into it because people just pressing, 0.2, 0.3 grams and getting back 0.01 dot oil. Like, what are you gonna do with that? So I was like, this can't be a possible, technique to make oil. There has to be a better way. So that's when, like I said, back then I was into this big fresh juice craze. I went and met up with a juice company that I was gonna go pick up a juice press from. And long story short is that basically the man had the exact electrical press that I had drawn up in my head the whole time in his garage. So I had to make a couple modifications and whatnot, and this is why hash rosin is possible for us. And to this day, I still use that same machine. We still process on it. We put pounds and pounds through that machine, and it still does the job. And from how we met up with Gold Leaf and whatnot, they contacted us. I mean, I've known Buddha, which is one of the senior members from Gold Leaf, for quite a bit before I met Nate. And they contacted us and showed interest in the hard press. And basically that's how our relationship started with Gold Leaf. And that's how we're here today now, making this fine product for the recreational market. Once again, this is Sarang from Polar Icetracts. Thank you to the Have a Heart crew for having me here to do an introduction of our product, and hopefully you find this whole video educational and helps you out with the service of the customers. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ariel. I'm the founder of Leira, and I make these cannabis cigars made out of all cannabis. So let me start with the history. I first got into cannabis when I first got my medical card. I got it at the same time as I got Sarang's, because we were both buddies. We've known each other since high school and stuff like that. She actually introduced me to my wife of 20 years right now. So we both got our medical card. He started growing and he started advancing a lot more than I was, and I still had a corporate job at the time, and I was just figuring out how to grow weed. And once I figured out how to grow weed, I saw so many people learn how to grow cannabis, and I was up for a different challenge. So I tried to get into edibles, and I started making almond toffee. And as soon as I figured out how to make toffee, I wanted to brand it. And me, with the history and graphic design and a little photography, and I also do like video editing and this and that, I use all my creativity to help market this toffee and make the best out of it. So as I was doing that, in the medical, Sarang was helping me out, giving me tips and things like that. And I started to notice like nobody really cared about what the toffee tasted like. They just cared about the milligrams and how high could it get you and this and that. I was like, well, don't you want to taste it first? And so which is what I noticed about the cannabis industry at the time. It was very immature. All people wanted to do was just get super high, and they didn't really care about the product. So then I thought to myself, like, I had to change this. I really had to change this. So I branded the toffee different and this and that, and people still didn't pick it up. So at the time when I was friends with Sarang also was growing, but he tried to get into cannabis cigars because we got introduced to cannagars from, I saw this guy post Afgu Head. He was the first to do cannabis cigars with the tying method, tying string around the buds and stuff like that. But I always told myself, man, that's kind of hard to do. But Sarang figured it out. But I mean, the lines weren't as clean to make it like seem like a marketable product at the time. But I saw Sarang's struggles with it, and he gave up on it and moved on to better things like rosin or bubble hash and stuff like that. So as I was making the toffee, I still was having trouble trying to sell like a premium edible, you know, and people just didn't get it. They just was more focused towards how high you can get. So once Sarang gave up the cannagars, I went into the tactics because I knew if I could perfect the cannagar, I can change the cannabis industry and help elevate it. So that's exactly what I did. And Sarang gave me a tip that he thought of on how to clean up the lines of the cannagar. So once he gave me that tip, I attacked it, and I made my first cannagar, and everybody loved it. And now I branded it since I'm a graphic designer. I designed my own label. I thought of the wax seal from seeing Maker's Mark bottles and things like that. And later on, I found out they also did that with cigars. I didn't know they make cigars at the time. With these cannagars, I knew after I perfected it and everything that I had to find the perfect garden to complete it, because you can't sell an expensive product because for one, it had to be expensive because you put a lot of labor into these cannagars, and it takes me an hour to complete just one Corona. And I knew if I used a crap garden that had crap material that I couldn't sell a $420 product. You just can't sell a Ferrari with Kia parts, you know? People would just figure out it's just a gimmick. But after like trying to find the perfect garden, we found one. I was desperate, and we found this garden way out in Chehalis, and we just went and attacked it. And the first day we almost rode, but something happened and it got canceled. And lo and behold, I get a call from my friend Youth, and he said, "Hey man, I got a guy that's interested. He's with Gold Leaf Gardens." And I heard about Gold Leaf Gardens from medical days. They had a lot of respect in the community, in the medical community. So they're all organic and solventless products, you know, and I felt that's what completes a premium product. And this is the garden that's going to help elevate the industry. They've been killing awards with the flower, and now Sarang got the award-winning hash and the rosin. Now this is the world's first clean green certified award-winning product, you know, award-winning cannabis cigar in the world, and nobody has that. So I came up with the name Leira out of the blue because it's actually my name backwards, Ariel. The reason why I did that was because at the time I had a corporate job. I didn't want nobody to know what I was doing, and I didn't want to come up with a silly name like Stoner Dog Cigars. You know, if I wanted to elevate the cannabis industry, I had to come up with something that sounded luxurious and real high end. And I flipped my name backwards. I was like, wow, Leira, that sounds pretty. So I went with it, and I figured since, you know, I did all the graphic design, the photography, I do all the social media, the video editing that you see on my Instagram is mostly done by me, unless I say it isn't. And I figured the name completes it. So one thing I wanted to do was, you know, let's model directly off tobacco etiquette, or the tobacco cigar etiquette. So I, created the same etiquette with the cigar cutter and the proper way to light a Canagar and things like that, versus somebody that would just take a big blowtorch and burn the crap out of their $420 Canagar that they just purchased. And just appreciate it. This is more of a product that you appreciate. Just sit back. You don't rush to it. It's just, like you accomplish something. It's an achievement. So, and you want to enjoy it. This is next level. Like, what product do you know that's gonna help you feel welcomed at a wedding, at celebrations? Like that was the thing that I noticed is when we first got into this, there's already a couple that bought or made an order of 20 for their wedding. I'm like, wow, 20 of these for their wedding? That's crazy. But they thought to themselves, like, yeah, we wanted to have weed at our wedding, but like joints and blunts, like we could put flowers on it, but it still doesn't look classy enough. And this is class right here. This is next level. This is what cannabis is gonna be, and that's what I want to show the world. And with the complete package that we have with Gold Leaf and Polar Icetracts, we all have that same vision, and it's people are starting to see that. We're getting in magazines, recognition in magazines. We're getting in news articles. We're on Forbes. There's celebrities that want to have this. There's people in private jets that fly across the country just for this, because we're the only ones that make this. So that's the value. That's why you're paying $420 for a Canagar. You got to be lucky to pick this up for $420 in Washington State, because if you go to any other state, good luck finding good quality material like this. Clean Green certified, award-winning flower, award-winning concentrates. Where are you going to find that? Like nowhere but here. So for you to just burn it up that fast, it's kind of like, you're hurting the what the culture is about, what we're trying to do, elevate it. Not everybody can be Cheech and Chong, and nobody's going to respect cannabis if you're going to continue being Cheech and Chong and showing people like, oh yeah, look how wasted I got off of this and that. Like, sure, that's not knocking that crowd. That will always be there. That's their thing. They want to party to do that. But I'm trying to elevate the brand. Elevate cannabis, period. And these guys are with us. So when you are talking to a customer about a Leira, please do not refer to these as Thai sticks. Call them Canagars or
blunts,
cannabis cigars, or super blunts or anything like that. Or if you want, I'm starting to change the language too. Instead of those arguments with Thai sticks or Canagars, how about just call it a Leira? There's people like pass me a Cohiba. Well, pass me a Leira. Leira just defines the brand. The more you use that language, it'll instill in people's head, have you ever had a Leira or this and that? Like, no, but I've had a Canagar, but you never had a Leira. So that's why try to use that word when referring to this product. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope this helps educate you about Leira and what we're trying to do with the cannabis industry.
Have a heart, have a heart.